I'm curious, first of all, if you have any insight on what may be taking place here with the DeepSeek emergence.
I mean, the funny thing is, Jensen said last year that we need to drive down the cost of computing. He specifically called out reasoning models and inference time scaling, which is exactly what DeepSeek innovated in the past few weeks. So Jensen almost kind of predicted this a few months ago. And he did that with Mellanox when he bought the networking company in 2019. When he actually bought that company, he put in the press release that someday AI workloads are going to work on these massive clusters and networking is going to be a critical component, which is exactly what's happening now with these 100,000 GPU clusters. So NVIDIA wants the cost of AI performance to be brought down, the cost to come down. Jensen has talked about AI inference. The cost has come down 1,000 times in the last 10 years, and they want that to happen over the next 10 years. And if DeepSeek's AI model optimizations actually are replicable by U.S. companies, this is exactly what NVIDIA wants.
But why do they want that? Just because, you'd argue, well, the more that you have to spend on these big workhorse models, the more that benefits NVIDIA.
So there's two components here on the AI training side and the AI inference side. Let's talk about the AI inference. So basically, these DeepSeek models do a mixture of experts, number precision. These are all techniques that have been used before, and they've kind of combined them in a very unique and innovative way. So the cost of inference have come down 90%. Now, if you think about it, the first blush, you react to that as thinking, oh my gosh, that's going to lead to a glut of AI computing power, inferences serving the models. But actually, over time, computing history has shown when you get more computing power and put that into hands of the developers, they figure out new applications, new workloads to use it. I mean, there's that saying, oh, you only need 640K of memory, and then obviously that proved false.
Right.
So over time, like researchers, I mean, we have healthcare, drug discovery, trillions of proteins that need to be simulated, robotics. There's these three mega trends that are happening this year right now: multimodal, where you analyze audio and video. There's AI agents. All these things are happening that are going to require more computing power. So if you have these algorithms and optimization techniques that give you more power, researchers and developers are going to find a way to use it.
Interesting.
And that's exactly what Jensen wants. And this is actually a very bullish thing for the whole AI data center space.
So that then brings us, Deirdre, to the question of what the U.S. should do about export controls on NVIDIA chips. Why don't you first bring us up to speed on what is the latest there?
So I think what Tay's getting at as well is Javin's paradox, right, which Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella brought up at the beginning of the week when all of this broke out into the open, saying more AI basically means more AI. And what Tay's talking about is true. At the inference level, it could require even more compute power. Something that I think may be lost in this conversation, though, is the competition that is going to be coming online for NVIDIA. Without a doubt, NVIDIA is leading edge. It has been the kingmaker in AI in that pre-training phase. In the inference phase, there's a lot more competitors. You have companies like Amazon and Google working on their own chips that are efficient, that could compete with NVIDIA's GPUs that are going to be coming online. And something that I think is really interesting that's also emerged this week is that big tech is just totally embracing DeepSeek. So while Washington is talking about more export controls to make sure that these GPUs don't get into the hands of Chinese labs like DeepSeek, it's obviously, proven this big breakthrough that our big tech companies are really excited about and integrating into their own platforms. I mean, Microsoft Azure, Amazon AWS this week integrated DeepSeek in a way that isn't just taking DeepSeek, right, but taking the open source model and giving it to their customers in a safer way.
In a compelling interview with the well-regarded Chinese tech news outlet 36KR, Liang Wenfeng, the visionary founder of DeepSeek, has articulated a strategic perspective on the future of artificial intelligence in China. As the global landscape of technology continues to evolve rapidly, Liang has emphasized the critical need for China to transition its focus towards cultivating a robust and self-sufficient AI ecosystem and put NVIDIA out of business. Welcome back to Investocracy.
Exactly. What do you think? I mean, if I could even put it that bluntly, the U.S. should do. You say you think the U.S. is still going to win the war here. As part of the war, should we be doing more serious export controls or not worrying so much about that?
I don't think you have to worry too much about it. There's no way they're going to. I highly doubt that the Trump administration is going to raise the compute thresholds to let China get the current advanced chips. The reason why I think the U.S. is going to win is that the current Blackwell AI systems are these massive AI server racks with 72 GPUs, all tightly integrated together. They have over 100,000 parts. They weigh 1.5 tons. So in the past, a lot of this is backward looking. You could put like a small chip in your backpack and maybe smuggle it, but that's not
what I've heard. Yeah. So let me just interrupt you there so people know what we're saying. There's been a lot of speculation that these chips, these H800s or H100s, are being smuggled into China in suitcases. You say going forward that you can't even smuggle in the latest stuff.
Yeah, I mean, these AI servers that everyone's going to use because they're so much more performant and a massive computing density. Every hyperscaler is buying it right now. They're so big and massive, and you can't ship a 1.5 ton. It's like, come on, it's not going to happen. And these clusters, DeepSeek talked about 2,000 GPUs. The Llama 3 was trained on 16,000 GPUs. Now Llama 4 is going to be over 100,000 GPUs, and then Meta and everyone else is building 1 million GPU clusters. Like these are massive clusters and performance power that China is not going to be able to get. China's not going to be able to get a million GPUs.
And I apologize for running short on time here. Could you still, ship them to Singapore, quote unquote, and they make their way to China?
Not like these racks are so big and weigh so much. I don't think these things are going to be able to be smuggled in any shape or fashion.
Yeah, it's fascinating. And as you say, if all this raises demand for this computing power, we have it, and it will maybe be harder for it to kind of get there in the black market. We'll see. We'll see for sure, and I appreciate the points.
Liang Feng's vision is clear. China must evolve from being a passive consumer of technology to becoming an active contributor and innovator in global tech advancements. This sentiment is further exemplified by DeepSeek's remarkable progress within the AI sector. The introduction of their low-cost AI assistant app has been nothing short of groundbreaking, effectively disrupting the market and challenging the status quo. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
I want to start with you, Josh, and I'm going to hear from you and Bryn first, because you're our longest owners of NVIDIA. And I'm wondering what you make of today's sell-off, how you're putting it into context, the kinds of questions you want answered, and what all of this means to you.
I think there's a component of today's sell-off where people are very reasonably recalibrating their expectations for how big the total addressable market for new GPU sales is. But then I think there's an even bigger component that's just speculators being unwound. This is the most over-owned stock in the market, and for good reason. People have absolutely gone crazy with options trading here, with leverage. We've got vehicles that are 2x NVIDIA. We've got all kinds of zero data expiration, weekly options. It's an absolute casino that's been built on the back of a legitimately amazing growth story. And so I think if you didn't have that circus in town, you'd probably see the stock down 5 to 10%. But because you have all that leverage, you're seeing much more. I think there are two very important things that people need to know about what's happening with DeepSeek AI and the way it's being interpreted on Wall Street. The first is, it doesn't matter if it's a Chinese government psyop or not. The technological innovation of having an LLM train itself through reinforcement learning is impressive. The cost efficiency of doing inference with only 7 billion parameters rather than 700 billion parameters is impressive. The possibility of being able to do more model training and inferencing with less usage of power and less chips is impressive. It doesn't mean, though, that chip demand is at risk. What I think it means is you're more likely to see an acceleration of AI everywhere, all over the economy. And I think that that's kind of becoming the default version of what's to happen here. The idea of LLMs becoming commoditized, Scott, has always been on the table. That's why Zuckerberg released Llama 2 the way that they did. We've seen this in previous technological revolutions. In the cloud, for example, Google gave us Docs, Sheets, and Slides, which commoditized Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. But everywhere in the world you go, you will still see people using Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. I don't think there's a line of Fortune 500 CTOs who are dying to take a fistful of Chinese AI technology and shove it right into their cloud data. It's unfathomable.
This disruptive approach has sent noticeable ripples across the industry, evident from the initial 17% decline in Nvidia's stock value, an indicator of DeepSeek's impact on high-end chip suppliers. Nevertheless, the dynamic nature of the tech industry meant that chip stocks and AI-centric companies experienced a resurgence. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
One of the most important words that Josh used in that answer was if, because there are a lot of ifs and there are a lot of unknowns, whether this is all even possible or not. Stacey Rascon at Bernstein, who, by the way, is going to be on with me today on Closing Bell, says, we believe that the DeepSeek did not build OpenAI for $5 million. They say the panic he does. He says the panic over the weekend seems overblown. Kenner Fitzgerald today says this is actually very bullish for compute and for NVIDIA, almost certainly leading to an AI industry wanting more compute, not less. They'd be buyers of shares on weakness like you're seeing today, which is the worst day for this stock since March of 2020. Do you agree with that?
Do I agree to buy more shares today? I'm not sure. Let's see it flesh out. But where I do agree with Stacey, and I think that as an investors, this is what a good old-fashioned unknown looks like. It comes out of nowhere. No one's prepared for it. And this is what you see: NVIDIA down 17, Vistria down 30. But what I do know, if you read the technical paper, it says apparently in the technical paper that the $6 million does not include costs associated with prior research on architectural algorithms, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that you have this, what I would call a fast follower, that took all of the success of ChatGPT, OpenAI, et cetera, really smart folks. The smart folks are not stuck in the US, they're all over the world. And they've done something incredibly innovative.
As China aims to establish itself as a formidable player in the global AI arena, the importance of investing in technology communities and securing industry support cannot be overstated. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.